Welcome back to Beauty Abroad International. My name is Tulsi Ramos and I've been a registered nurse for over 15 years and specialize in pre and post-operative services. So on today's video, I wanted to show you guys how to empty your surgical drains. So we're gonna be learning how to empty a hemovac drain or an accordion drain and a JP drain or a bulb drain. So stay tuned. All right, so before we get started, I just wanted to explain a little bit about why you might see one drain as opposed to the other, depending on the kind of surgeries you have and also your doctor's preference. So the JP drain consists of basically a bulb and the tubing. And at the end of the tubing, you have little perforations, little holes that are inside of your skin, and that allows the drainage to come through and fill up this bulb. Now these bulbs hold about 100 mLs or the equivalent to roughly half a cup of fluid, and the accordion drains can hold 400 mLs of fluid, which is roughly about a cup and a half. So the accordion drain can hold 4 times the amount of a JP drain. So you'll typically see these accordion drains in larger surgeries such as a extended tummy tuck, an FDL, or a 360 body lift, because this will hold a lot more fluid, and those larger surgeries you will have a lot more drainage typically. So these are great because you don't have to empty them as often as you would have to empty the JP drain. And these also, if you can see, have some coils inside, and so the suction on these is a little bit more intense than the suction that a JP drain can provide. So those are some of the differences of why you might see one over the other. Now some surgeons do like to use these instead because the tubing is a little thinner, but oftentimes what you'll find with these kind of drains is that you'll either have 2 of them on either side of your hip or on either side of your rib cage if you had any kind of like breast reduction or a breast lift, as opposed to this one, you may just have 1 because it can hold a lot more fluid. So those are the main 2 differences, but the way they function is really the same. This also has the reservoir that holds the drainage and then the tubing. And on this one, you can see it a little bit more clear. I'll hold it up to the camera. If you can see those little holes on the side. So this is a part that would go in your body, and the drainage would get sucked in through here and go into the drain. So I'm going to fill these up with some simulated drainage and I'll be right back. So with the JP drain, I have here a demonstration. No worries, this is just colored water, not actual blood. What you'll notice is as the drainage begins to fill the bulb starts becoming more and more plump and round and starts becoming less collapsed. So you always want to empty your JP drain when it's about at the halfway point, because if you let it get too high or completely full, it will completely lose its ability to suction, and then essentially your drain will no longer be of any use or serving any purpose. So when you see that your bulb is about halfway full, you want to go ahead and empty it. So to empty it is very simple. I always say try to avoid squeezing the bulb when you open this little plug to avoid the drainage from squirting out at you, okay? So you're just gonna, I like to hold it from up here. You're gonna lift up this plug and they will completely fill with air. And then before you empty it, you always want to measure. So if you hold it at eye level, you'll notice little numbers on the sides here. So this one has roughly about 50 mLs, okay? So it's always a good idea to kind of keep a journal of how much output you're having and the color of it, so that you can keep track of how much drainage you're having every single day. Surgeons will typically empty these drains once your drainage is about 50 mLs or less in a 24-hour period, okay? But of course, the first few days and the first week, you're gonna have lots of drainage, probably several hundred mLs of liquid. So once you've measured it from the bulb, then you can grab any kind of disposable plastic cup or container, and you're simply going to tilt it in and just squeeze it out. Like that. All right. And then you would just discard this, preferably down the toilet or in the sink. So once your bulb is empty, we're gonna activate the suction again. So to do that is very easy. All you're gonna do is collapse the bulb like this. And then you're gonna grab the plug and you're gonna plug it back, okay? And the suction should remain. The way you know that it's suctioning properly is because the bulb will be collapsed, all right? So if for any reason you're empty it and you plug it back in and it's still looking like this, then either the plug is not in all the way or the connection here may be possibly loose, or there may be a crack in either the bulb or the tubing, all right? So it's always good to kind of follow the tubing all the way into where it's inserted in your skin and see if you can notice any cracks or holes, or if the tubing is coming out. So for example, if you were to see any of these little holes, so let's say this is your skin, right? And it's inside of your skin, and you start seeing any of these little holes, then that means that the drain is slipping out, and that's why it can't hold suction, because the air is going in through here. So if you ever notice that your drain is slipping out and you start seeing the little holes that are supposed to be on the inside under your skin, then just notify your doctor immediately. And we would typically just grab like a piece of gauze with some petroleum jelly and put it on the gauze, and then wrap it around the tubing where the holes and the incision is, so it could keep it closed and as clean as possible until you can see your surgeon. All right, so next up, the hemovac drain. Now to empty an accordion drain, the process is almost identical. You're going to remove or unplug the little plug here, and it's going to inflate like that. And then this also has some numbers on here so that you can measure the output. I find it a little bit harder to read on these. You have to hold it perfectly level and look. It is possible, but if you have an option of getting any kind of measuring cup that has the mLs written on the sides of them like this, then this would be preferred, because you'll get a much more accurate amount when you use that. So you can use, we're gonna use this one, but again, you can also use a disposable plastic cup if you've already measured it directly from the accordion drain. And you're going to tilt it upside down and squeeze. Like that. Okay. And then on here you would measure it. You kind of see the numbers there. So on this one there's about 60 mLs. And then again, you would just dump this down the toilet or in the bathroom sink. And to activate the drain, the suction, you're going to press down on this like you're squeezing a hamburger. Now, the coils that are inside of here make it a little bit harder for you to press down. So sometimes if I have a hard surface like a desk, I'll just put it on the desk and then push down so that I can use my other hand to plug it up. So here, I'm gonna try it one-handed. So we're gonna squeeze. Squeeze and plug. Whew. And there you go. It's collapsed, okay? Now, if the way I did it was the more difficult way, because I wanted you guys to be able to see what I was doing. But if you put it on a table or a hard surface and you press down on it like this, then you can put the plug in a lot easier without having to struggle as hard. Now, I will say that if you've had any kind of breast surgery and perhaps a tummy tuck, like a mommy makeover, and you do have one of these drains, it is better if you seek help to empty it, because the amount of force that you need in order to collapse this sometimes, especially when you're really fresh out of surgery, is going to activate your pectoral muscles, and it can actually cause you pain or discomfort to try to do this to press it down. So if you do have one of these drains and you have help, have them help you empty it. And that's it. Easy, right? So now that you have the knowledge and the skill set to empty your own JP drain or Hemovac drain, I would like to add a disclaimer. If you ever feel uncomfortable or unsafe doing any of the things that I demonstrate, or you simply don't have it in you, or you're taking care of a family member and you don't want to get it wrong or make a mistake, it's okay. Don't do it. It's better for you not to do it and just have your surgeon either see you in the office early, or maybe can send out a nurse to you to help you out. I never want you guys to do anything that you feel unsafe or uncomfortable doing. Always remember that this is not medical advice, and you should always follow your surgeon's instructions. This is for informational purposes only, and hopefully just so you can arm yourself with a little bit more knowledge. So until the next video, take care. As we say at Beauty Abroad International, it's your beauty magnified. Bye guys.